Today, I'm going to say something that might sound completely wrong at first. You don't have a client problem. I know that's probably not what you expected to hear, especially if your census has been up and down, so referrals come and go, or you've been working really hard. You're trying your best, marketing hard, but your agency isn't growing. Because when things aren't working, the first thought most home care owners have is this: we just need more clients. We need more referrals. We need better marketing. But what if I told you that chasing more clients right now might actually be the reason you're stuck? What if the real issue isn't the number of clients coming in, but what's happening behind the scenes? So stay with me, because once you see this, it will completely change how you grow your agency. Now, here's the truth that most home care owners don't realize early enough. You don't have a client problem. You have a referral system problem. Let me repeat that. You have a referral system problem. And the reason this matters is simple. When your system is not structured, everything feels unpredictable. Some weeks you feel like things are finally working, referrals are coming in, your team is busy, you feel encouraged, right? Then suddenly everything slows down and you're right back to wondering what went wrong. That cycle is exhausting, and it keeps you in constant state of reacting instead of leading your business with confidence. Let me try to paint a picture that might feel very familiar. You have a great week, maybe even a great month. Referrals are coming in, your phone is ringing, your caregivers are getting hours, right? And you feel like, wow, okay, we are getting somewhere. Then a few weeks later, things go quiet. The same referral sources that were actively giving you referrals suddenly go silent. Your schedule starts opening up, and now you're scrambling to fill hours. Your caregivers are asking for shifts. You don't know what to do. And then you go back to hustle mode. You start calling the same people you were calling, showing up to facilities, dropping off brochures, flyers, checking in, following up, and trying to get things going again. But deep down, it feels like you're starting all over every time. That can be frustrating, right? Or maybe this has happened to you. You had one strong referral source, maybe a hospital or a home health partner, and they were sending you consistent referrals, which became clients. You got comfortable. Then one day the referrals slowed down or stopped completely, and it felt like someone just turned off a faucet. Now you are left trying to rebuild something you thought was stable. If any of that sounds familiar, I want you to hear this clearly. This is not about your effort. You're working hard. This is about structure. Let me take you back to when we first started. We were running our agency. I guess you may have heard this 100 times already, from the basement of our home, our town home. We had a virtual office for meetings and a couple of spreadsheets here and there, and everything. Honestly, we were wearing every single hat in the business. There were days we were the receptionist, the scheduler, the marketer, the HR department, you name it. And sometimes even the caregiver, of course. And when it came to referrals, we were doing what most people do in the beginning. We were going out, introducing ourselves, dropping off brochures, trying to build relationships, and just hoping something would stick. I still remember one day we walked into a facility feeling very confident. We had our folders, our materials, everything nicely organized. We spoke to the receptionist. We smiled. She smiled, took our brochures and said, "Oh, this is great. Looks beautiful. I'll make sure they get it." Them referring to the social workers, right? Or the discharge planners. We went home really confident, comfortable. We're excited. We're like, woo, we're finally getting into this facility. It was a hospital. And then guess what? We waited and waited and waited, and nothing happened. For weeks, nothing happened. Even though we thought that we did a great job, right? But looking back now, we laugh about it because nothing came from that visit. That brochure probably never made it past the front desk. And that was our pattern for a while. We were busy, but not effective. We were doing outreach, but not building a system. Sometimes we would get referrals and it felt exciting, but there was no consistency. One week we felt great, the next we felt uncertain. At the time, we thought the answer was simple. We just needed more of everything: more visits, more calls, more effort. What we really needed was structure. I hope you're getting a pattern now. Once we stepped back and really looked at what was happening, we started to see patterns. And these patterns are the same ones we see with many home care agency owners today. The first issue that many owners have is they treat all referral sources as the same. They spend equal time instead of identifying which relationships actually will drive results. This spreads your effort too thin and limits your impact. You're just going everywhere, spreading, distributing flyers, brochures, and sending random emails. It doesn't work that way. The second issue is access. Many owners struggle to get past the gatekeepers. I know you know who they are, right? They call, they stop by, but they are not positioning themselves in a way that builds trust or open doors to the decision makers. We were there from the story I just shared earlier. As a result, they stay outside. The third issue is the nature of the relationships themselves. If your interactions are transactional, meaning you show up, drop off materials, ask for referrals, and leave, you become easily replaceable because many other agencies are doing that and more. With that approach, there is no real connection, no trust being created, relationship being created, or value being created for that matter. Another major issue is the lack of tracking. Many agencies operate on assumptions. They believe certain sources are strong, but they are not actually measuring referrals, conversions, or revenue. Without that data, it is impossible to improve or scale. Then there is over-reliance. This is one of the most dangerous positions to be in. If one or two sources are driving the majority of your business, any change in those relationships can impact your entire agency overnight. And if you've been in the industry for a little while, you would know that there's a lot of turnover in the industry. So you may have a wonderful relationship with a social worker or a discharge planner or a marketer at another facility or home health agency that you've been working with. But next month you go back, they've gone to another company. There's a lot of turnover in the industry. So relying on one or two agencies that have been feeding you clients or referrals is a dangerous place to be. Because like I said, things can change overnight, and they do. Consistency is another challenge. Outreach or marketing often happens only when things slow down, right? When business picks up, marketing stops. We're busy staffing those cases. This creates a cycle of highs and lows instead of growth. And finally, there's a lack of depth in the relationships. If you only know one person in a facility and they leave, your connections disappear, right? Without multiple touch points, your growth is not protected. And in our company, in our agency, we like to say, go deep in those relationships. Get to know them on a personal basis, if at all possible. Get to know their challenges, not just the company challenges. Get to know how you can work with them, help them. They're not just a case manager, they're a person, right? That's human being there. Get to know them and relate with them and build that trust. That will go a long way. So you want to have multiple referral sources, multiple referral partners, multiple touch points for your growth to be protected, for those referrals to keep coming. When you look at all of this together, it becomes clear there is not a client problem. There is a system problem. The turning point for us came when we stopped asking, how do we get more clients? And started asking, what system do we need to build, to create, to develop so that we can have consistency? We began to organize our referral sources, prioritize our efforts, track what was actually working, and build real relationships instead of just showing up and hoping for results. As they say, you spray and pray, right? And something powerful started happening. Referrals stopped feeling random. It was no longer a timing or guessing game or even praying hard for the next referral. We started seeing patterns. We started predicting outcomes. We started seeing growth. It was more intentional. And that shift changed everything for us, not just in our business, but in how we showed up as leaders, right? As maybe your CEO, the administrator, the director. So let me ask you something. As you're listening to this video, what stood out to you the most? Was it the inconsistency, Was it the lack of tracking? Or was it realizing that maybe your relationships are not as deep as they need to be? Drop that in the comments. I really would like to know. And guess what? It may be somebody else's experience also. Let's learn together. Let's grow together. And if this video opened your eyes and you're starting to realize that the issue is not getting more clients, but fixing what's happening behind the scenes, then we created something that will help you. And it's called the 7 referral breakdowns costing your home care agency clients. This guide walks you through exactly where your systems may be breaking down, what is costing you, and most importantly, how you start fixing it. Because you don't fix inconsistent referrals with more hustle, more spray and pray. You fix it with structure. So go ahead and download it now. The link is below. Download it. And if this message helped you shift your perspective, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more real talk, more tools, more turnaround stories like this one, right? Like the ones I share with you today. And if you're serious about becoming a successful home care agency that grows with, grows with confidence, you have consistency, book a 30-minute consultation with us. It's free. Let us go through your current situation. Let us see how we can help you. All right? So until next time, make sure you download that guide. It's going to open your eyes, it's going to help you, and you're going to truly realize that your problem is not the lack of clients. Your problem is a lack of structure.